back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. We're going to get to this Miss Nevada story here in just a few minutes, but it is 10 a.m., and that means it is time for the news with KDWN's John Schaefer. John, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Well, there was an exchange of gunfire last night near Gowan and Decatur. It left an off-duty Metro officer wounded and 3 people in custody. Police still looking for a 4th person who was involved. The officer who was shot was taken to UMC with non-life-threatening injuries. 2 of the people who were taken into custody also suffered gunshot wounds.
Oof. That doesn't sound good. Critical condition, or what's the?
No, non-life-threatening.
Okay, well that's good.
They were all just injured.
Okay, that's good.
Prosecutors in Las Vegas charging 19 men and 4 women with being part of a white supremacist gang behind prison and street crimes, including murder, drug trafficking, and identity theft. A 152-count indictment unsealed Wednesday in Nevada State Court alleges that all 23 defendants are members or associates of the Aryan Warriors. It labels that gang a criminal racketeering enterprise.
Well, I guess white supremacy is a hoax, though, isn't it? Yeah, according to Tucker Carlson.
It's never been a hoax. It's been happening for a long time.
Yes. Well, I'm glad they caught those guys.
We've all seen American History X, and that was well before Donald Trump.
Well, I'm glad those guys were caught, because who knows what they would have done.
A cook at a Long Beach hotel who allegedly threatened a mass shooting had guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition at his home. Rodolfo Montoya was arrested a day after allegedly telling a co-worker at the Long Beach Marriott he planned to shoot fellow workers and guests. The employee told the general manager, who contacted police. Police say Montoya's Huntington Beach home contained assault-style rifles and other weapons, dozens of high-capacity magazines, and hundreds of bullets. Montoya was upset over a human resources issue and had both a plan and the means to carry out his threat.
I think it is important to praise the police and to praise citizens when we should. Imagine all of these so-called wannabe mass shooters who have been caught before they did destruction. I mean, thank God. I think that it's a great thing. And, citizens need to come out, and if they see something weird, you got to call the police, and they have been doing that. Imagine how many lives have been saved in the last week. Remember last week we had those 3 kids? I shouldn't say kids, but they were young adults that were caught before they committed these atrocities. So, God, it's just scary how many of these nut jobs are out there. But thank God they caught this guy.
Props to the police for saving hundreds of lives.
Absolutely, at least.
Yeah, and it's nice that his coworker took the threat seriously and went somewhere.
And
with
you know what? That guy's a hero. If he doesn't do that, who knows what could have happened?
Exactly.
Yeah.
An air traveler was detained by Metro Police after he punched a pilot at McCarran Airport yesterday. Crew members had determined the guy was too intoxicated to board a flight. He got angry, hit the pilot. The pilot refused medical attention. The 49-year-old man issued a misdemeanor battery summons after the incident happened around 2 in the afternoon at the Frontier Airlines gates.
Yeah, that's really smart. The guy that is literally in control of your life. Let me just sock this guy in the face. It's kind of like when you're getting into a car, or you're in like an Uber or a taxi driver. They're driving the car that you are in, and let's assault the driver. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. In fact, why don't I do it at 10,000 feet? Oh, my God. Can you just imagine? Like, how does that even happen? Did that happen in the plane?
No, it happened in the airport.
At the airport?
They wouldn't let the drunk guy on the plane, so he punched the pilot in the face at the gate.
Well, since you assaulted the pilot, sir, we'll just go ahead and we'll let you in. I'm sorry about that.
And so, did the pilot still fly the plane, or did he have to take a leave of some sort and
he
call
still
someone
flew
else?
The plane.
Really?
Here the guy is.
That's impressive.
The guy is just at his job. He's a pilot. He shows up to work, and he gets socked in the face before jumping on the plane and doing his job. Talk about a tough job.
By a completely intoxicated stranger.
Yes.
Imagine how that goes, like when he shows up at home to his wife or something, and his wife goes, "Hey, honey, how was work today?" "Oh, it was great. I got punched in the face by one of my customers."
That's like working at Lowe's and somebody just walking up to you and just sideswiping you, knocking you out.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened to me yet at the radio station. I'm just waiting for the day it does. But
could.
But anyway, John, thank you so much for the news, my friend.
Thanks a lot, John.
Appreciate that. All right. By the way, the number to call if you want to be a part of the show. By the way, never assault anyone, especially the pilot who is going to be taking you on a trip.
Especially in a city like Las Vegas, in a state like Nevada, where everyone has concealed carry options, and you don't know who's packing heat, if you will.
You know what? That's a valid point. Like, let's just say hypothetically that person who was socked in the face had a weapon.
Exactly.
He would probably be within his right if he felt like he was in serious danger to use the weapon.
Well, say, for example, the guy that socked in the face was, 6'6", 350 pounds.
Yeah, you never know. The point is, you're right. You never know if you're going to attack. First of all, you should never physically assault anybody. But in this day and age, a lot of people do have weapons, and you better be careful. You better choose wisely. You should never put your hands on anyone to begin with. Number to call if you want to be a part of the show, 257-5396, talking a little bit about Miss Nevada being stripped of her crown. We'll get to that in a second. Why don't we take some phone calls? Let's go to Morris. Morris, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. What's on your mind?
What's up, Morris?
Yeah, how you doing, Brian?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah, I just want to let you know, one of your previous callers, I think his name was Brady, you
Yes.
were so right about this. And not because, you're not a big fan of Trump, but the facts that you were talking, all the facts, and you had this guy on the corner, you knock him out in the first round, he still get up and then come up with a lot of BS. I think this guy lives on an iCloud 7 or a tunnel vision.
Well, Morris, I appreciate that.
I'd like to send him. I'd like to send him some reality pills.
Yeah,
And he's gotta
I agree.
Listen to you more. He's got to listen to you more to learn something.
Well, Morris,
You're a fair guy. You're a fair guy.
I appreciate you saying that, Morris.
No,
Unfortunately,
seriously.
I appreciate you saying that, Morris. Hang on the line here for a second. The point I'm trying to make, Morris, and I'm sure you would agree with this, is when you have people like Alex Jones, for example, who says horrendous things all the time with no facts or basis to back it up. There are people on the right, there are some nut jobs out there that will believe everything people like Alex Jones says, and that is very dangerous. There are some people that do not have the mental capacity or the IQ to form their own opinions. So they just listen to other people that say wacko things. That is why, Morris, when I talk about the president of the United States and I say he has a responsibility with his words, when you demonize illegals, when you demonize people of color, yes, some people with some intelligence that support Trump will say, well, listen, I'm not going to listen to that stuff. I don't agree with it. But then there are some others that have very low IQs that are just dumb, let's just call it for what it is, that will listen to what Trump says and use that anger. And I never said that Trump is 100% responsible for these shootings. I would never say that. But he does hold some responsibility in the words that he used. And Morris, just like this guy who called in who listens to everything that Alex Jones says, there are some whack jobs out there that listen to everything that Donald Trump says. And Morris, my point being that's dangerous.
And there are some whack jobs that listen to everything that Don Lemon says and that Chris Cuomo says. There's extremist views all over the country.
Don Lemon
on both sides. It's been that way for a long time.
Are you comparing Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo to Alex Jones?
They have staunch followers just like Donald Trump and Alex Jones do.
So do you think Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo have ever caused a shooting?
I think that Elizabeth Warren, when she claimed that Donald Trump was part of Antifa, certainly didn't help the Ohio shooter.
No, but he didn't assault the president of the United States or do anything in regards to the president. I don't think Elizabeth Warren had anything to do with that shooting.
Elizabeth Warren claimed that Donald Trump was a fascist.
Okay.
The shooter, the Ohio shooter, supported Antifa, which means literally anti-fascist.
But you just specifically mentioned Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo.
Right.
I understand.
I'm saying they have staunch supporters, just like Alex Jones and Donald Trump do.
I understand you're not a Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo supporter, but hold on. Let me just make my point.
I'm just pointing out that it happens on both sides.
Okay, but there is a fine line between somebody like Alex Jones, who says the Connecticut shooting didn't happen, somebody like Alex Jones, who makes
because he has a podcast and they have CNN?
No, because of what he said. He said the Connecticut shooting didn't happen. Has Don Lemon or Chris Cuomo even come close to saying anything like that? That's all I'm trying to say. Are there whack jobs on the left that have probably said some ridiculous things? Sure, of course. There's whack jobs on both sides. I don't deny that. But if we're talking about TV people and people that have a huge platform, find me somebody on the other side of Alex Jones on the left that has said some of the most ridiculous things. Has anyone on the left ever said that? Anything close to what? That's all I'm trying to say, that Alex Jones has said, JD.
No, I understand what you're trying to say, and I'm saying it exists on both sides, and there is extremist views in the United States, and that's our biggest problem right now. It's not just white supremacy. Obviously, white supremacy is an issue, and Donald Trump, in an already divided nation, the way that Donald Trump operates, it pushes people in one direction. It may push people to action. It's possible that it pushes people to action.
Let me ask Morris this. Morris, can you name anybody on the left that you think is equal to Alex Jones?
Well, not on top of my head, but what I'm just saying, I agree with both of you right now, what you're saying. And the reason about your show is you're standing up for facts. You're not trying to take side, even though you're not a big fan of Donald Trump.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you're not saying what is right. The proof of that, you were talking about the Las Vegas.
Miss Nevada, yes.
What was her name? A lady that they took the clown because of that she made a comment.
Katie Williams, and Jew, and
right
I took their side. I defend them. Yeah,
so that guy Brady's got to listen to that and find out what you're saying is correct. And and keep listening to
Yes.
your show.
Well,
You're
Morris,
gonna learn something.
Morris,
Thanks a lot, Morris.
I appreciate those kind words, Morris. Thank you so much. There are some people out there that will not listen to logic or truth or fact.
There are some cookie cutter people who they follow their politics based on what they think they should do, and they don't actually look at each circumstance individually and decide what makes the most sense and apply reason.
Agree.
That's happening right now.
Agree.
And the media is perpetuating that, both the left and the right. And they do that because they're making a ton of money because of it.
JD, I'm not saying there aren't crazy people on the left that say crazy things.
Oh, there certainly are.
Okay, I agree with you, but I do not agree with you when you bring up Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo and try to compare that to Alex Jones.
I'm saying there's people on the left that whatever they say, they think it is gospel.
But
just like there are people on the right that whatever Alex Jones says, or even Steve Sanchez or Donald Trump, whatever they say, they take that as gospel.
JD,
that's all I'm saying.
But you have to agree.
You're comparing the context.
I think that's very important.
I'm saying there are people that are so impressionable that when they watch TV or when they hear somebody, Sean Hannity, Chris Cuomo, whatever, they literally believe that what they're saying is gospel.
Okay, then you have more responsibility. And Alex Jones says some really awful, ridiculous things. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, he basically has an underground digital cult.
Which is dangerous.
I'm not suggesting it's not, clearly.
That's all. Okay, 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Ron. Ron, what's going on?
What's up, Ron? Don't scream.
Good morning, gentlemen. No, I'm trying to be peaceful. I got a real good bit of advice, really. Number one, I support Wayne Root. He's got his idea now, just like you do. But my real call is this.
Can I just, Ron, I'm going to let you continue. Ron, I promise you I'm going to let you continue. And I'm going to say this in a very calm way, and then I want you to make your point. Okay? Is that fair?
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay, can you give me a second? Okay, just give me a second.
Sure.
Wayne Allen Root is not like me. And the reason why...
No, I didn't say he was.
Okay, but...
He's got his opinion, and you got yours.
Okay, Ron, but
that's the bottom line.
Okay, but hear me out on this. It is not an opinion. When somebody says something on the air, a conspiracy theory like Muslims did the October 1 shooting with no facts or basis to, you know what? That's not what we call an opinion. It's a conspiracy theory.
In the Clinton situation, I would have to say that they misspoke.
Okay, well, you know what, Alex? Okay, but here's the Ron. I hear you.
Let me get back to,
hold on. I'll let you make your point. If he said he misspoke, I would take you for that, Ron. But he hasn't.
Well, he misspoke.
He never apologized.
That's a new word. But we're not. Don't lie. They misspeak.
But I understand what you're saying, Ron. But let's try to focus on Wayne Allen for a second. You said.
I want to get off that subject.
All right. Fine. We'll agree to disagree. Go ahead. We'll agree to disagree.
The second point I'm calling you about is sometimes people put their shoe in their mouth, and you picked on a motorcycle people type of gang called the Aryan Warriors. The Aryan Warriors are associated with the Aryan Brotherhood. If you have no idea who they are, most of them that are in jail are living in solitary confinement. And you know why they're there? Because they have knocked off 4 or 5, maybe 10 people in their lifetime. And Mister, you just insulted those people.
No, I didn't.
How are you?
What are you talking about?
With eyes behind
that was John Schaefer's. Hold on a second. Okay, back up. Let's back up a couple steps.
Ron, I don't recommend threatening radio hosts.
Yeah,
that's probably not the best way to operate.
Ron,
you've made better decisions.
Ron, and I'm letting you know something. Okay, Ron. Okay, now listen to me. Okay, fine. Now listen to me for 20 seconds. First of all, John Schaefer came in studio and reported the news. That was a news story. That wasn't even my voice. So that's number one. So you might want to get your host right. Number two, I'm going to speak my opinions, and I'm going to say whatever I want on this show, whether you like it or not. And you can threaten me if you want to. It won't stop me from doing what I do. Have a very nice day. 257-5396.
That was not a good call.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Alex. Hopefully it's not Alex Jones. Alex, what's going on?
What's up, Alex?
No, this is... Listen, if I lose my train of thought, it's your fault.
I apologize. That's what my dates tell me all the time. I'm sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Alex, the normal Alex.
Good.
I don't defend extreme thinking like that.
Good.
At all. I just find him to be, I don't know, I guess entertaining, like watching a movie or something. But I don't watch him very often. But your question was anybody on the left that's similar to him. I would say that maybe not as extreme, but certainly causes a lot of strife in our society would be Louis Farrakhan, and Al Sharpton.
And that's fair. I'm not an Al. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and I try to get on Al Sharpton's radio show 2 or 3 times, and let me tell you something. They always ask me, "What do you want to say?" Well, I tell them what I'm going to say. I never get on the air.
Well, that's because he's a coward and he's a racist. Look, you named two people, Alex. See, I'm trying to be fair here, and that's a very fair point you made. Farrakhan and Sharpton, in my opinion, are two racists. Okay, they I'll bring up the Michael Brown situation. I'm sorry, where was that? Where was Michael Brown killed? I forgot the city. JD, can you help me here?
Missouri, Independence, Missouri, I believe.
Ferguson. Yeah, Ferguson. That's right, Ferguson. I bring up Ferguson, Alex, because as soon as that shooting happened, Al Sharpton was bashing the police officer. He was going after law enforcement without knowing the facts. Anytime a white officer kills an African-American, Al Sharpton is the first person to stand up without all the evidence and calls it racism, and that is very dangerous. So that is a very good point you bring up.
Yeah.
I am not an Al Sharpton fan, but I think that they go hand in hand. I think Al Sharpton does it maybe for different reasons. I think he's a racist. And I think, to be honest with you, I think Alex Jones does it for hits.
Yeah, I agree that there are two extremes.
Yeah, I think
they can be very dangerous. I agree. By the way, I must say this about another one. I would say that more quietly and hidden would be Jorge Ramos. You know who that guy is,
Of course. That's the guy who talks about illegal immigration. And by the way, I don't agree with him. I don't agree with the way he conducted himself at that Trump press conference that made him famous 1.5 years, 2 years ago.
Right.
I'm not a Jorge Ramos fan either.
You know, I want to touch.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to touch on Al Sharpton. What he does is he basically makes African Americans feel oppressed and like victims, and then monetizes on the oppression.
Yeah.
It is disgusting.
A lot of hate.
It is disgusting.
And so anyway, Jorge Ramos, unfortunately, this is why I was trying to make this point yesterday on regarding all the mass shootings. I think the internet has caused a lot of problems with what's going on with the mass shootings because, as you know, several of these people are saying, well, I wanted to break the record by killing these people.
Right.
When I was a kid, there was no such thing even to think of things like that because whatever you did, you only did it right there in front of your friends. The rest of the world wouldn't even know what you were doing or thinking. And now you just become an infamous star. And going back real quick to Jorge Ramos, I don't like him because he creates a lot of racism from Hispanics when they talk about white people, Anglo people.
You know what my biggest issue with him is, and I don't disagree. And Alex, by the way, thank you for the call. I got to get to some other things. Yeah, my biggest problem with Ramos is this. He called himself a reporter. Ramos calls himself a journalist. He's an opinion host. That's really what he is. When you have opinions on things, you're not a reporter. You're not a journalist. I'm not a journalist. JD's not a journalist. I'm not a reporter. I used to be a reporter.
My handwriting is so bad.
Well, you can have bad handwriting and be a reporter. That has nothing to do with it. But the
journalist?
point I'm trying to make is you can't show your opinion when you're a reporter. Otherwise, you're not doing your job. Ramos, obviously, is an opinion host. He should have never been labeled a reporter because it is complete and utter nonsense. We're going to take a quick break. Be back right after this. You are listening to The Vegas Take. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Don't worry, we will get to this Miss Nevada story because we have some sound from her. Try to figure out why she has been dethroned of Miss Nevada. And, well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that she supports Donald Trump. And you know what? I don't agree with what they're doing to her, just like I don't agree with what they did to you in Michigan. Regardless of what your political beliefs are, I don't think that should have any say in whether you lose your job or not. So we will get to that coming up in hour number 3. I promise you that. But coming up next, this is going to be an interesting interview because you heard this story on the Vegas Take earlier this week. Former porn star by the name of Jenny Lee. 3 or 4 years ago, she was making a lot of money in the adult entertainment business. And she was seen over the weekend in Las Vegas, homeless, living in one of those tunnels, JD. Have you seen those tunnels where homeless people live in? There's some downtown. I guess there's different terminology for it, but I guess you call it a tunnel, not an overpass. Are you aware of that? Because I'm not.
I always thought it was an overpass.
Well, I don't know. But anyway.
But it's fine if it's a tunnel.
Yeah, but the guy we have on the show with us next, his name is Paul Vetrino. Used to be homeless, used to be living on the streets in Las Vegas. He turned his life around, and now he works from the Shine a Light Freedom House Sober Living Program. Apparently, there are hundreds of people living in these tunnels right here in Las Vegas. Paul himself used to live there. These are underground flood channels or tunnels, not really called freeway overpasses. This guy used to live there. and he is going to share his story about how he got there, how he turned his life around. And then my question to him is, how the hell can you be listen, being a porn star, you still make pretty good money, especially if you're one of the bigger names. And make no mistake about it, Jenny Lee, she made a lot of money. She had a pretty nice career going for herself. And now she finds herself homeless. This wasn't 20 years ago, guys. This was several years ago that this porn star was making a really good salary. She was doing very well for herself. Now, it could be drugs. It could be mental illness. I don't know the reason, but I guess my question is, how the hell do you get in the situation you are in where you are homeless in Las Vegas when you are a pretty popular porn star just several years ago? I'm telling you, it's crazy to me. I don't know how this stuff happens to people. So anyway, this guy, Paul, will be joining us coming up here in just a few minutes in the next segment to talk about that. And as I mentioned earlier, I do want to get to the details in this Miss Nevada story. And we will get to that in hour number 3 as well. How is Miss Nevada dethroned of her crown, allegedly because she is a Trump supporter and because she has made some political tweets on social media supporting Donald Trump? I take her side on this. I take anybody's side on that. If you want to support Donald Trump, that's fine. The issue I've had are people, again, that come up with these conspiracy theories that are dangerous, that can hurt people. And Alex Jones certainly is that person. We'll take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN.